It's 2025. Thailand and Cambodia are fighting over their border again. Tensions are sparked after a Cambodian soldier is killed in a brief skirmish with Thai troops. Those tensions quickly escalate into a broader conflict. Dozens are killed, and hundreds of thousands are forced from their homes.
The dispute reminds us that unresolved historical grievances in Southeast Asia has not disappeared. They have simply been managed rather than fully resolved.
ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, has been mediating the conflict. The US and China have also got involved. On both sides of the border, nationalist sentiment has been fanning the flames. Since the end of 2025, a ceasefire has been in place, but troops remain deployed and tensions still linger. But this border conflict is about more than just territory. It's shaped by domestic politics, nationalism, and unresolved grievances that go back to the colonial era. This is the Emerald Triangle, a border area between Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos. A Cambodian soldier was killed here in May 2025. Over the following weeks, tensions grew. Land border crossings were shut, cutting off $5 billion in cross-border trade. By July, the dispute had exploded into the worst fighting between the two countries in more than a decade. The clashes went on for months. There was a ceasefire, then more fighting, before another truce was finally agreed in late December. Since then, the fighting has largely stopped. Most evacuees have returned home, but the situation remains delicate. The 2025 escalation is not the first time this border has seen conflict. Tensions have flared periodically over the years, often stirring strong nationalist sentiment in both countries.
The dispute has reinforced nationalism and hardened political narratives on both sides.
Dr. Sopal Ear is an associate professor at the Thunderbird School of Global Management at Arizona State University.
And once border disputes become emotionally tied to sovereignty and national identity, compromises become much more difficult because leaders are no longer only negotiating with each other, they are also performing for domestic audiences.
This time, on the Thai side, Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul took a hard stance against Cambodia, especially during his election campaign in early 2026.
จะเอารัฐบาลที่เขมรกลัวหรือเอารัฐบาลที่กลัวเขมร
But Anutin was not in charge when the conflict was sparked in mid-2025. It was Paetongtarn Shinawatra. Just 10 months after becoming Thailand's leader, she was caught in a major national scandal. The reason? A leaked phone call between Paetongtarn and Cambodia's de facto leader, Hun Sen, who was once a close friend of her father, influential former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra.
ไม่อยากให้อังโคไปฟังคนที่เป็นฝั่งตรงข้ามกับเรา
This opposing party was actually a Thai army commander overseeing Thai forces along the border with Cambodia. Paetongtarn's perceived soft stance towards Hun Sen and Cambodia was a major political boost for the Thai army, which plays a big role in border policy.
พอมันเกิดความขัดแย้งขึ้นนะคะหลายคนในประชาชนประเทศไทยเองเนี่ยก็อยากจะเห็นการตอบกลับกับกัมพูชาที่ไม่ใช่แค่นั่งเจรจา
Dr. Punchada Siriwannabut is the Dean and Professor at the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities at Mahidol University in Thailand.
การที่กองทัพตอบกลับในลักษณะนี้ก็เป็นสิ่งสำคัญเลยที่ทำให้ยกบทบาทของกองทัพขึ้นแล้วก็สร้างความเชื่อมั่นให้กับคนไทย
The same day Hun Sen confirmed the authenticity of the audio clip, Thailand's Phumjai Thai Party announced its withdrawal from the coalition government. Once Paetongtarn's Pheu Thai-led government collapsed, Phumjai Thai leader Anutin rose to power. first leading the caretaker government and then winning the 2026 general election. In Cambodia, at the 74th anniversary of the ruling Cambodian People's Party, veteran leader Hun Sen condemned the attack against the Cambodian troops in late May and promised to protect his country's territory from foreign invaders.
យើងប្រូផ្ដាច់ការពីពរណភាពទឹកដីបច្ចុប្បន្នដែលបន្សល់ទុកបន្ទាប់ពីសម័យអាណានិគមនិយមឲ្យគង់វង្សស្ថិតថេរជានិរន្តរ៍
The conflict became both a foreign policy challenge for Cambodia, but also domestic political instruments helping to reinforce and strengthen their political narrative.
Dr. Suksampuas Im is an associate director of the Asian Studies Center at Michigan State University.
Ruling government of Cambodia, they have been portraying themselves as the only guarantor of peace, especially since the end of the civil war, the Khmer Rouge conflict.
The Cambodian People's Party has dominated Cambodian politics since 1979, after the fall of the brutal Khmer Rouge regime. Former Prime Minister Hun Sen had ruled Cambodia for most of that period. Officially, he was succeeded by his son, Hun Manet, in 2023. But despite the transfer, Hun Sen remains the dominant political figure in Cambodia. Throughout the border conflict with Thailand, Hun Sen has portrayed Cambodia as peaceful, defensive, and in need of international support. So, why are Thailand and Cambodia at odds over their border? To trace the origins of the conflict, we have to go back centuries. The Khmer Empire, centered in present-day Cambodia, was once the dominant power across much of mainland Southeast Asia from the 9th to the 15th century. Its influence extended into areas that are now part of Thailand. As the empire began to weaken in the 13th century, Siam, modern-day Thailand, and Vietnam emerged as regional powers.
Shifting territorial control between the Siam and the Khmer kingdoms that allow both countries to interpret the history and the legitimacy of the border differently.
In those times, borders weren't clearly defined. But in the late 19th century, the rise of French Indochina, comprising modern Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, changed the situation. At the center of today's dispute is the 1907 French colonial-era map. Thailand argues that the map contradicts the treaty, stating the border should follow the natural watershed of the Dong Rek Mountains. The problem for Thailand is that French cartographers placed Praviher Temple, known in Thai as Khao Pravihan, on the Cambodian side. Because Thailand used that map for years without formally objecting, it later served as a legal basis when the International Court of Justice awarded the temple to Cambodia in 1962. That ruling, to this day, remains a sore point for Thai nationalists. So, when UNESCO designated Praviher Temple a World Heritage Site in 2008, Thailand protested, setting off armed clashes that lasted for years. The ICJ reaffirmed Cambodia's sovereignty over Praviher in 2013.
The judgment of 15 June 1962 decided that Cambodia had sovereignty over the whole territory of the promontory of Praviher.
But the surrounding land remains contested.
You can manage it. It might be difficult to say what should belong to who.
Dr. Pawin Chachawan Pongpan is a professor at the Center for Southeast Asian Studies at Kyoto University in Japan.
We might not even have to talk about it because I don't think anyone want to give up. But you can talk about this issue in terms of share profit or profit sharing. That's gonna be win-win for both sides.
It's not just maps and ancient temples. Culture is another source of tension. Thais and Cambodians often argue over their shared cultural heritage, like the origins of traditional dances, costumes, and even sports.
So if you walk on the street, Thailand or Bangkok, and you ask them, ask their opinion about their Cambodian neighbor, I bet that not a lot of people would say positive thing about them, right? Often this would be a kind of, description, a smaller nation, yeah, a colonized state of France. Sure that if you go into Cambodia and you ask them about their perception about Thai people, you would almost get the same, a similar kind of answer.
How each side approaches this centuries-old dispute is also an issue. Cambodia's policy is to internationalize the dispute, while Thailand wants to manage it bilaterally.
So Cambodia generally prefers international legal mechanisms because smaller states often see international law as a way to level the playing field. Thailand has traditionally been more cautious about internationalizing the issue because bilateral negotiations provide greater control over timing, structure, and political management.
Well, this is so exciting.
Then that's the involvement of foreign powers. In July 2025, US President Donald Trump used the threat of trade tariffs to end the fighting. This was later formalized through the Kuala Lumpur Peace Accord in October. Trump even presided over the signing of the ceasefire agreement.
It views the region through more of the lens of regional stability and balancing China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific region.
Beijing's diplomacy, on the other hand, is more low profile. After the December ceasefire was announced, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi hosted trilateral talks with his Cambodian and Thai counterparts. Chinese government-run newspaper The Global Times said in an editorial at the time that unlike many past mediations dominated by the West, China does not adopt a condescending approach, impose political conditions, or seek geopolitical advantages.
Neither Washington nor Beijing wants uncontrolled escalation. Both powers prefer stability, but they also interpret the dispute through the larger framework of Indo-Pacific competition, which means even localized tensions require broader geopolitical significance.
Experts say this growing reliance on outside powers also shows the limits of regional institutions like ASEAN, Southeast Asia's regional bloc, which is built around the principle of non-interference.
If the party in conflict do not want to listen to ASEAN, then ASEAN could not do anything. This non-intervention golden rule, hanging there in the air, other countries in ASEAN also do not want to intervene for fear that they could be intervened in the future because you intervene them.
So, what's the way forward? How can the border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia be resolved? One mechanism that already exists is the Joint Boundary Commission, or JBC, which was established to discuss the survey and demarcation of land boundaries. On paper, the JBC is supposed to meet at least once annually. In reality, it didn't convene for 13 years, only meeting again in June 2025 with the new escalation.
Peace depends less on fully resolving the dispute than on managing it responsibly over time. The problem is not the absence of mechanisms. The problem is that technical solutions often become politically sensitive once sovereignty narratives enter the picture.
For now, both sides are saying they are working on rebuilding trust. Nearly 1 year after the 2025 escalation, the leaders of Cambodia and Thailand met on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Cebu, the Philippines.
Our discussions focus on de-escalations and trust-building measures.
These measures would be key to restoring trust.
It's a small diplomatic step, but a positive one, especially since the rare high-level talks followed Thailand's decision to cancel a long-standing agreement with Cambodia over joint oil and gas exploration and overlapping maritime claims in the Gulf of Thailand.
As Thailand had reached a kind of stable politics, then the government would really give heart and mind, in trying to settle issue with Cambodia, which I think Cambodia also going through the same phase. And they might start to see mutual benefit this time of making peace rather than war.
Those who would benefit the most are the civilians living along both sides of the border who have the most to lose when violence erupts. After more than 7 decades of diplomatic ties, Thailand and Cambodia have a broad range of deep connections, from cross-border trade and shared cultural heritage to tourism and labor movement. The challenge is moving beyond exploiting border disputes for short-term political gains at home and developing strong, lasting ties with their neighbors abroad.